All right. You ever had a morning where you just knew the universe was gunning for you? Picture this. I'm standing in my pajamas, coffee in one hand, city-approved permit in the other, staring at the HOA president, Belinda Thornberry. She's waving her clipboard in my face like she's got the nuclear codes, that smug look, and $300 highlights glinting in the sun, telling me my shed is illegal, and if I don't tear it down, I'll owe $500 a day. That's right, tear it down or pay up cheater. Except joke's on her because every permit she's waving around is real. Every inspection was passed, every rule followed, and she knows it. She's tapping those fake nails of hers against her clipboard, like she's running the mob, changing the rules just to see if I'll fold. What she didn't know, couldn't have known, was that she wasn't just any old storage. It was 8 by 10 feet of everything I had left from my late wife, Sarah. Her rose clippers, our Christmas ornaments, gloves still holding her scent. Hell, it was the last place I felt close to her. And Belinda, she wasn't just flexing power, she was erasing Sarah's memory for her own damn ego. You ever had someone try to wipe out the last thing you have of someone you loved? Ever dealt with a Karen so determined she'd rewrite the rules just to watch you squirm? Yeah, if you have, stick around. Or better yet, drop your own horror story below. Misery loves company. So did I give in? Not a chance. I tore down the shed the very next morning. But what I built in its place, well, Belinda's face when she saw it was worth every ounce of sweat. And if you think the story ends there, you have no idea what came next. My name's Dan Kowalski. I moved to Willowbrook Estates thinking I was escaping one nightmare, but all I did was walk straight into another. See, 3 years back, cancer took Sarah. 68 houses, perfect lawns, a sparkling community pool. This place was supposed to be my do-over. I'm a structural engineer by trade, and Sarah, she always dreamed of teaching neighborhood kids pottery, planting a garden, making this place home. So I bought the corner lot. Figured I'd honor her memory, maybe fix up motorcycles, build some furniture, teach a little woodworking like she'd always nudged me to try. Every morning, coffee in hand, the smell of sawdust and motor oil got me through the worst of the grief. I built a simple shed out back, nothing fancy, just big enough for her tools. Rose clippers, clay pots stacked like little prayers, work gloves soft from her lavender lotion. Even our Christmas angels lived there, ceramic faces, watching over everything we'd built together. Now, if you've ever dealt with HO, as you know, they love their paperwork. But here's the kicker: when you get architectural approval in writing, you're usually grandfathered in under state law. It's legal armor. I did everything by the book: permits, pulled licensed contractors, HOA approval, stamped 4 months before a single nail was hammered in. City Inspector Rodriguez, good guy, called it model compliance. But then Belinda decided my grief was bad for property values. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a real estate Barbie with a blonde bob designer athleisure at 9 in the morning, a BMW that's shinier than her smile. She rules this place from her corner palace like a suburban dictator. Our first real encounter, she ambushed me by the pool, clipboard, cocked voice sweet as venom. Dan, honey, she purrs, that little shed is really impacting our property values. The committee might need to revisit certain approvals. I handed her my permits, showed her the HOA email with her signature, and suddenly the sweetness vanished. Rules evolve, Dan. Some of us have serious investments to protect. She glanced at my beat-up pickup like it was a dead rat. Not everyone understands standards. The threat was clear: conform or get crushed. That night, neighbor Chuck swung by with a couple beers. You just painted a target on your back, he warned. She's run off 3 families in 2 years. Always finds violations. But I had ironclad permits, right? Chuck just laughed. Belinda's been president for 6 years. She knows how to make your life hell until you quit. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, the harassment started. 7 a.m., gravel crunches Rodriguez's truck in my driveway. He climbs out already apologizing. Dan, someone reported your shed setback violations, illegal square footage. I know it's fine, I signed off, but I gotta re-inspect. He wouldn't say who called, but glanced right at Belinda's house. She complains every week. Last month, it was a basketball hoop. 5-minute inspection, perfect measurements, permits all checked. Rodriguez just shook his head. Whoever's filing these is wasting everyone's time. That night, standing by Sarah's shed in the fading light, I realized this wasn't about codes, it was about power. About a woman who saw a grieving widower as easy prey, and honestly, something in me snapped. I could almost hear Sarah's voice, soft but steel underneath. Dan, some bullies only understand one language. Belinda thought I'd roll over, but she didn't know she'd just picked a fight with an engineer who knew the codes better than the city and who had nothing left to lose. Then came the violation notice. Certified mail, Belinda's signature curling across official HOA letterhead like a middle finger. Immediate compliance required. $500 fine. 30 days to remove unapproved structure. The same shed she'd greenlit 4 months back, suddenly public enemy number one. Sitting at my kitchen table, Sarah's favorite mug in hand, I remembered a nugget from a legal studies class decades ago. Authorities can't just change their minds after you've relied on approval. It's called estoppel, your legal shield. I'd filed that fact away, never dreaming I'd need it to defend a shed. That weekend, my house turned into a war room, documents everywhere. Covenant zoning codes, printouts from state law. The smell of old paper and fresh coffee filled the place. Buried in the original HOA covenant, I found gold. Any structure approved by city and HOA is permanently protected, immune to new rule changes, grandfathered, untouchable. Suddenly, I wasn't just defending myself, I had a legal sledgehammer. And then something caught my eye in the property records. A little detail about Belinda's own house, her backyard deck. Built in 2017, never got permits, 400 square feet of unapproved construction. Monday morning, I filed my own complaint, city and HOA. Rodriguez called me, voice shaking with laughter. Dan, her deck, no permits, no inspections, no approval. She's been breaking every rule while busting everyone else. For the first time in months, I grinned. The next day, Chuck showed up, eyes dancing. Belinda's losing it. She's screaming at people, calling everyone about harassment. Thursday. Belinda herself came to my door. This time, no fake smile. She looked a mess, clipboard trembling, mascara smeared. Dan, we need to talk about your illegal deck, she stammered. I just smiled. Grandfathered, requires permits, Belinda. Same ones you claim don't protect my shed. She leaned in, voice a whisper. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot. Maybe we can work something out. You mean withdraw your violation? It's not fraudulent. Want me to email you the statute? She was desperate. My husband doesn't know I built it without permits. If the city gets involved? I saw her then, not a queen, just another suburban fraud trying to dodge consequences. I laid it out. Withdraw your notice by Friday. File for your deck. Leave me and my shed alone, or Rodriguez processes your violation. She left BMW screeching down the street, probably another HOA violation, come to think of it. Friday? No withdrawal. Saturday, Chuck appeared at my fence grinning like a kid on Christmas. Emergency HOA meeting, Monday. She's doubling down, says your shed's a security risk for kids, could be used for, inappropriate activities. I nearly dropped my mug. Inappropriate activities. In a shed full of Christmas angels and rose clippers. Now, she was calling me a danger to children. That was her biggest mistake. Monday night emergency meeting at the community center. I expected maybe a dozen neighbors. Instead, 40-plus folks crammed in tension, thick as fog. Belinda stood at the podium, navy blazer, hair-perfect voice, dripping with authority. We're dealing with a resident who refuses to prioritize children's safety. She flicked to a PowerPoint drone photos of my property, my shed circled in red arrows everywhere. This unsecured structure contains unknown materials, lacks basic safety protocols. I watched my neighbors, some scared, some rolling their eyes. Mike Torres, fined for his RV, sat in the back, arms crossed. I let her go on, digging her own grave. Then she turned to me. This resident responded to dialogue with threats of legal retaliation. I stood up steady and calm. Belinda, are you talking about when you begged me not to report your unpermitted deck? The room went dead silent. She sputtered. That's out of context. I was just trying to negotiate. Want me to read Rodriguez's report, 6 years of violations? The murmurs grew. Phones appeared, neighbors Googling property records in real time. Belinda pulled out a thick folder. I filed formal complaints with 3 agencies, County Health Fire Marshal, IRS, environmental contamination, fire risk, unreported income from an unregistered commercial structure. The room spun. She wasn't just after my shed. She wanted to ruin me financially, legally, personally. Chuck jumped up, voice trembling. Jesus Christ, Belinda. Environmental contamination. The man stores Christmas decorations. That's what he claims, she snapped. Official investigations will determine the truth. Her loyal neighbor, Patricia Webb, piped up. I've observed late-night activity. Unusual smells. I stared at Patricia, remembering cutting her bushes late one night as a favor. But Belinda was just warming up. She waved another letter. I've contacted Mr. Kowalski's insurance company. Unpermitted structures could void coverage. That's when it clicked. She was trying to box me in from every angle. Home finances, legal standing. As the meeting descended into chaos, Belinda gathered her papers, smiling like a hitman who just cashed in. I realized I'd been playing too small. She wasn't just a bully, she was a predator using bureaucracy as a weapon. I was about to become her biggest mistake. The bureaucratic blitz began at dawn, trucks rumbling down Maple Drive, health department, fire marshal, building code, even a federal sedan. The smell of diesel and dread mixed with my coffee. Health inspector showed up, face weary. Potential hazardous material, storage. I led her to the shed, opened the door, just garden tools, Christmas lights, potting soil. She shook her head. Sir, this is all a waste of time. Fire marshal, same story. Building inspector shook his head. 7 wasted hours. But the real show started when Rodriguez came for the electrical inspection. Dan, they say you've got unpermitted electrical hazards. I laughed. Rodriguez, there's no electricity. No outlets. No wiring. His face went through every shade of disbelief. Someone complained about fire risk in a building with no power. He leaned in. Want to guess who filed it? Then he told me something that turned irritation to rage. She tried to bribe me $500 for expedited inspections. When I refused, she asked if there was a way to ensure thorough enforcement for problem residents. In other words, she wanted me to manufacture violations. That's when my brain switched modes. Enough defense. It was time to go on offense. I asked Rodriguez to document everything. Every bribe, every false complaint. He grinned. Already started, Dan. That's felony territory. That night I sat on my deck with a beer and Sarah's photo. You know what, honey, time to play by engineer rules. I called my lawyer Chuck in the city. If Belinda wanted escalation, I'd show her what a structural engineer with nothing to lose could build. The next morning my lawyer called. Dan, sit down. Turns out Belinda's HOA presidency is illegal. State law says 60% of homeowners must participate. She won with 23%. She's had zero authority for 6 years. And she's been paying her real estate company from HOA funds $47,000 over 4 years with no board approval. Embezzlement. And she owes $89,000 in back taxes. Those HOA payments were her lifeline. Suddenly I saw her desperation for what it was. She wasn't protecting property values, she was protecting a criminal operation. Time for a move so bold she couldn't help but trip over herself. That night my plan came together. Agricultural exemptions, underground construction, residential zoning. Turns out my property was still zoned agricultural. I could build anything underground, HOA be damned. By the time Belinda left for a 3-week vacation, my neighbor network was ready. Excavators rolled in at dawn. Chuck, Mike, even Patricia Webb joined the crew. Rico, the best in the business, took one look at my plans 8 feet down. 2,000 square feet full HVAC. Steel door the works, and just grinned. Boss, you're building a bunker. Construction started the morning after Belinda flew out. 3 excavators tore into the backyard. Concrete trucks lined the street. Mrs. Palmer baked cookies for the crew. Every permit was in order, every inspection perfect. Belinda, dialing in from Hawaii, lost her mind. You're destroying property values. I just smiled. It's agricultural, perfectly legal. Inspectors kept showing up. I handed over the permits, every document legit. They left shaking their heads. This is the most over-engineered project I've ever seen. Belinda upped her game, nighttime sabotage, paying neighbors to file complaints, even sending environmental protesters with misspelled signs. All documented, all falling flat. Week 3. The underground fortress was finished. Thick walls, bomb-proof ceiling. State-of-the-art, everything. The day Belinda returned, the whole neighborhood was ready. Detective Palmer and Rodriguez had a mountain of evidence: bribery attempts, false reports, embezzlement, illegal presidency. They recorded every desperate call she made from Hawaii. The confrontation. Oh, you should have seen it. Belinda shrieking denial, neighbors filming Palmer reading the charges. She broke. Fine, I tried to get rid of Dan. He doesn't belong here. His dead wife's shed was an eyesore. Yes, I've been president without proper elections. Yes, I paid myself. So what? And there it was, the confession that sunk her. Palmer cuffed her right there, reading the charges. Embezzlement, bribery, harassment, fraud. Chuck raised his coffee, grinning. Dan, that's the best thing I've seen since my wedding day. 3 months later, my underground workshop was alive with laughter, neighborhood kids learning woodworking. Sarah's dream come true. The new HOA, President Chuck, focused on real community, not terror. The old guard's money went to real projects, a rose garden, a vegetable patch, real improvements. Belinda Federal charges prison time house repossessed, the neighborhood healed, and for the first time in years, I found myself smiling just because I could. You know, sitting in Sarah's corner of the workshop, I realized something. When someone comes after the thing you love most, you can either fold or you can build something so beautiful, so enduring, that no amount of spite can tear it down. That's what I did. And maybe, just maybe, that's what justice looks like. So here's my question for you. Where's the line? When does fighting back become the only choice? Do you think I went too far or not far enough? Maybe you've dealt with your own Belinda. I want to hear your story. Drop your thoughts or your battles with HOA Karens down below. Let's hear how you'd handle it. Because sometimes the quietest answer, the one built brick by brick below the radar, is the one they never see coming.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video của mình.